الحمد لله رب العالمين وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين وبعد. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we are studying the laws of the financial transactions in Islam, or the laws that the Islamic laws that govern the financial transactions. And we were discussing the different forms, different types of riba, of usury, of interest that was practiced during the time of Jahiliyah, the time before Islam, and were forbidden after Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent Islam, sent Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Earlier we mentioned that the prohibition of usury, the prohibition of riba is the religion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in every religion, in every deen that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent with every prophet. And this is mentioned clearly about the Yahud, the Jews in Al-Quran Al-Karim. And today, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, we are going to continue with the theme to show that modern practices of lending and charging interest, usury, riba, is the same as it was practiced before Islam, and as it was practiced when the revelation of the prohibition came down. Question? Yes.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. You can ask questions, Sheikh. I had a question as well.
Yes, go.
Sheikh, if it was said that, so we know that these financial institutes, they have, well, they say that we're not, the case is going to be, if there's a case, if there's a litigation, this is going to be null and void. This contract, Islamic contract, is going to be null and void, and we're going to go with the interest contract. If they were to argue that we never intend to go into litigation, and we're only doing this so that we can work with the system and allow an opportunity for the Muslims. And as a matter of fact, I mean, I remember somebody giving a presentation, and one of the VPs, he came back and said, well, I mean, it's not that we haven't had problems. We had people who weren't able to, were in difficulty, but we worked with them, and we were able to resolve the issues, and we have had zero cases where there was any foreclosure or anything of that sort. And so if they were, if I would use the words, they're trying to fool the system just so that Muslims can get an opportunity, would that afford them an excuse?
Yes and no. For the yes, this is a big lie. Okay. First of all, there is no way under the sun a bank, because to be fair, most of them, they work for conventional banks, correct?
No, they're getting the loan from conventional.
That's what I'm telling you. They work for conventional banks, correct?
No.
Do conventional banks deal with a contract other than the mortgage contract? The conventional contract?
No, they don't. That would be their argument also.
What? What's the argument? I know all of their arguments. I'm their teacher, basically. I know what, but what are you saying?
So, I mean, that would be their argument, right? That since the banks would dictate that you have to take interest, What we're providing is, so Muslims won't take interest. So what we're providing is an opportunity. So we'll go ahead and set up the brothers of Musa alayhi salam, right? That we will repent later on. We'll do what we got to do.
Brother of who? Brother of who?
Yusuf alayhi salam. I'm sorry.
Yusuf alayhi salatu wassalam. I thought you said Musa. Okay.
No. Because I mean, what they're saying is that, okay, so we would establish an institute. We'll take the loan from these banks, and since banks don't only deal with interest, we'll take that hit and provide an option to the Muslims, and eventually the Muslims would benefit. They would be financially stable, and they can then contribute to us, and then we won't have to go to these banks, and we would be able to establish a financial institute that's on Islamic principles, something of that sort.
See, first of all, Islam, there is no such thing called end justify the means. Okay. Second, the contract is intended for what? Why do we have a contract?
So if things go bad, you can fall back to it.
Why we have a contract?
So we have an agreement on certain condition. If we reach certain conditions, what we would do.
Okay, one more time. Anybody, why do we have a contract?
Because we have everything written down and things are clear.
Yeah, but why do you have a contract? You and me, we signed a contract, whether it's halal contract, haram contract, mixed up contract. Why?
Sheikh, a hint is needed now. Hint is needed.
I cannot hear you. You need to adjust your sound.
A hint is needed.
The what?
Hint. Some help.
No. Okay. When I take a loan from you, halal loan, 100% halal loan, during the administration of Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu, and we had the contract. Why we are having a contract?
Because we want an agreement, right? We want something.
Okay, why we are having an agreement? It's not, we are just contract, agreement, whatever. Why do we have it?
Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Prophet said,
okay,
if you're dealing with money.
For the sake of time, so when we have dispute, we go to the court. Correct?
Yes.
No, unless you have some other intentions, unless it is the contract is set up for somebody else's, it's a smoke screen, so that you can fool the system or something like that.
Okay, okay, I'm going to teach you the term instead of saying fooling the system, so you can work through the loopholes. Okay,
That works.
You can work taking advantage of the loopholes. Loopholes. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why we said yes and no. But the contract is for what? Once you sign a contract, what will happen?
You're bound by it.
Yes. Now, once the contract is signed, is there any other way around the contract?
No.
Yeah, that's why. Let me get you. This is the official paper that one of the people who dealt with them sent it to me. It says financing agreement. Let me read to you, and subhanallah, it is over these years. It says, this residential financing agreement between two parentheses agreement supplements the note in the amount of 140,000 blah blah and the deed of a trust, both dated the same as this agreement executed by Mr. Deleted Buyer in favor of deleted finance corporation. This agreement, the note, and the deed of a trust collectively are referred to as financing documents. As provided in the note and deed of a trust, A has advanced the principal amount of the note, initial capital, to buyers to facilitate buyers' purchase of residential property between two parentheses property located at the address set forth in the deed of a trust. Buyers and A have entered into this agreement to clarify how they have arrived at the payment terms set forth in the note. Buyers and A mutually recognize that as a matter of Islamic jurisprudence, correct pronunciation?
نعم شيخ.
Buyers may not pay numerical interest. Buyers may not pay numerical interest on a debt. However, buyers additionally acknowledge and confirm that buyers may repay the initial capital advanced by A between two parentheses repayment of capital or R capital of F C capital plus a return on capital. It's not interest, it's a return on capital. R on R capital, the letter R on the capital, on and C capital. All repayable as set forth in the note. Buyers and A have mutually performed such due diligence as such deemed appropriate to determine a mutually agreeable rental value to serve as the basis for the R on C, representing the rental value for the use and enjoyment the buyers will receive from the property. Buyers and A hereby conclusively agree for all the purpose during the life of the note that, pay attention, Habibi, such rental value is 1,000 something per month for the said property. Buyers hereby further agree to pay monthly installments consisting of the return of capital and the return on capital as provided in the attached amortization schedule. Anybody knows what is the amortization schedule?
Monthly installments.
But when you are dealing with mortgage, what is the amortization schedule?
Isn't that the something like a compound interest?
Exactly. It is the interest charged to the loans. Okay, whether it's compound or not, but it is how the interest is calculated. The amortization schedule, and I think if I go look more, I will find the one that they sent us, okay, which is no different than any other contract. Anyway, it says A'(S) amortization schedule shall be conclusive for all purposes of determining what portion of the initial capital remains unpaid to A at any point in time. Anybody knows what's the main sentence? Let me read it one more time. A'(S) amortization schedule shall be conclusive for all purposes of determining what portion of the initial capital remains unpaid to A at any point in time.
That whatever was decided according to the interest-based contract would
Yeah, but
remain.
what does that mean, this sentence? What does it mean? Because this is the agreement, Habib. Then with it, they send you the mortgage. This is the agreement, quote unquote, Islamic agreement. Remember, we mentioned earlier, they always send you what? This cover letter, and with it, the conventional mortgage contract, correct?
No.
Okay, so what does this mean here?
So basically, it is referring back to the amortization schedule.
Allah barak fiik, which is telling you what? Every payment is consists of two parts. Part will go to pay the interest, and part will go to pay the principal. Good. And when you pay $50 a month, after after each payment, they will tell you this is how much left of the principal to be paid, correct? And this is how much went to paying the interest. So let's assume tomorrow you want to get out of the contract. They will tell you this is how much your equity, or this is how much you own, etc., which is basically 100% a mortgage contract. Okay, continue. The interest rate, pay attention, please. The interest rate stated in the note is an implied interest rate. For purposes, pay attention, the brother who said, well, they are saying this for the law, okay? Just to take advantage of the loophole. The interest rate stated in the note, and note with a capital N, is an implied interest rate for purposes of conformity with the laws of the United States of America, and is intended to be deed of a trust interest under the Internal Revenue Code and similar state tax laws. Any question? I have not finished reading. Any question about this part?
No. I think I understood.
Naam?
I think I understood what you're saying.
Okay. Next part. And I want you to pay attention. Good. Please pay attention. In the event of late payment, please. In the event of late payment, non-payment, or prepayment, the terms and conditions of the note and deed of a trust will govern as fully as though this agreement were not present. Any question?
No. I mean, the only thing is that, they can always come back and say, well, okay, yes, we wrote it, but we are basically, saying this for the purpose of bank being satisfied. And under the table, we're going to not deal with interest at all.
Okay, don't sign the contract with me if you are true. Don't sign a contract with me.
No, that's a good point. No.
Okay, let me put it this way. My sheikh used to put it this way. He said, if they replace this with zina, would you sign the contract?
No.
Why not? It's a loophole.
No.
Yeah. If they sign this with a zina, would you sign the contract?
No.
Why not?
No.
It's a loophole, and zina is much less in sin than usury.
Mm.
See, but wait attention, because unfortunately, even the people who send me the paper, they did not read it, and those who read it say, "Ya Sheikh, I'm sorry, I do not understand it." Does it need really too much to understand?
No.
But sometimes, because we have this frenzy, we want to buy the house. For some reason, we stop the mechanism of understanding. So, listen. He said, the next part, this agreement describes how the parties arrived at the terms of the note, but does not supersede the note. Now, and I have a point, remind me to mention it also. After I finish. So one more time, this agreement, where would we say? Sorry. Oh, one more time. Okay. This agreement describes how the parties arrived at the terms of the note, but does not supersede the note. Moreover, the parties expressly acknowledge that in the event of any civil judicial action, suit, or proceeding by either party to enforce or interpret the financing documents, the note and the deed of trust shall be construed strictly in accordance with the terms as ordinarily understood in the civil courts. Let's assume they signed a contract with me and they have every pure intention, assuming, to just take advantage of the loophole. And I am Ghassan al-Barqawi, a stubborn person. Tell him, no, I am taking you to court. Then what? Then what?
It's going to be whatever the court decides, which is going to be according to the contract.
Assuming that you can guarantee yourself, which you do not. I'm talking the party of the contract. Can you guarantee me?
No.
No. Can you guarantee the other person of the contract?
No.
We cannot. If I says, okay, you signed it, I'm taking you to contract. I'll give you an example. This happened another way. A person came to al-masjid. Al-masjid. And he parked his car. There is an area in the car. Anyway, it was raining. And his car was basically covered with water in the property of the masjid. Okay? And in a simple terms, he said, well, either you pay me or I'm taking you to where? Where is he going to take them?
Court.
Come on, guys.
To the court.
To the court. He knew that the law is in his side, and they asked me what to do. I told him, listen, it's not a big deal. Let the Imam, Khutbat al-Jum'ah, say, well, here is the charity box outside. This person can go and take all the money there if he believes that he has an Islamic right into it. And let him go and take the money from the charity box of the masjid. Don't say anything else. There is no need to go to court or hire a lawyer or anything. Just let the Imam stand up. Khutbah al-Jum'ah said, there is the charity box, go and take the money. Get the point?
No.
You
Did
get
it
it?
happen? Just curious.
Nah?
Did it happen? I'm just curious. I'm sorry.
The situation happened 100%. After that, they asked me the question. I gave the answer. I did not follow.
That's an excellent idea. SubhanAllah. I was curious if he actually had the morals to actually go and take the chair from the charity box. That's what I was actually wanting to hear. Is he going to stoop that low? Allahu Alam.
And this person is a very rich person, by the way. Yeah. I know him in person. Yeah. Okay, back to this point. So, Habib, when we have a contract, the contract is for the legal system. The contract is to protect your right and my right. And when I want to protect my right, I will not put all of my trust on your promise. Correct? Will I?
No.
An example, I told you earlier how I lost my investments with the Muslim brothers. Why we insisted on writing an Islamic contract so I could not go? Now let's assume now we wrote an American accord that is based on the American laws. If this person now he lost all the investments, and I am a person who said, well, I'm going to go to court, what will happen to him now?
We have a contract, so the contract would appear in the court, and then
would he be liable to pay me all of my money and interest or not?
Interest
and penalties.
Yeah. I mean, according to the contract, whatever the contract is.
I'm telling you about the normal contract, Habib.
No, you would.
Normal conventional contract.
No.
Why we insisted to writing an Islamic contract? And now, Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen, he is free. We are still brothers in Allah Azza wa Jal, although I lost everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. If we have the conventional contract, what will happen to him now?
He'll be filing bankruptcy.
Just that, yani. Yeah. What about the psychological pain?
No.
Yeah. Anyway, back to this. It says, moreover, the parties expressly acknowledge that in the event of any civil judicial action, suit, or proceeding by either party to enforce or interpret the financing documents, the note and the deed of a trust shall be construed strictly in accordance with the terms as ordinarily understood in the civil court. Last part, it says, buyers shall be, please pay attention, buyers shall be the sole owner of the property at all times. What does that mean?
That means that the seller is absolving from any liability to the property, and anything happens to it, it is all fully vested into the in the buyer's hand.
Another question: if I'm the sole owner of the property, how can you charge me interest, rent?
But it's not the property's right that is transferred. It's only the responsibility of maintaining, or liability is the one that's transferred.
That's fine, but we're going to read it. But I'm asking, if I'm the sole owner, how can you charge me in rent for it?
No. So if the sole owner, how could it charge somebody who buys from him, from them, or loans from them, rent, because they're the sole owner? Okay. So if I am the sole owner, how could charges interest? Because I'm the sole owner. Correct. I mean, you can't. I mean, if that was true, you cannot.
See, I'm the sole owner. How can you charge me interest?
No.
How can you charge me rent? Okay.
But Sheikh,
anyway,
but
yes.
Sheikh, in reality, that's not the case, right? I mean,
it's not. It is not.
But that's the point.
It is not. But let's just read it. The buyers shall be the sole owners of the property at all times.
So the sheikh is saying just that if then there's no rent, right? Then you're dealing with loan. That's the point.
Exactly. So they are giving you a loan, no more, no less. They are going to mention it now.
okay, got it.
Okay. It says buyers shall be the sole owners of the property at all times, comma, subject only to (*s) interests, plural, under the deed of trust. This financing transaction is not and shall not be deemed to be a lease. You want me to read it one more time?
No, Sheikh, I'm good.
Good?
No.
Anyway, Habibi, the point, the Muslim is clean, does not cheat, does not lie, correct?
No.
So we'll say, well, we're going to take advantage. Advantage of who? The government, or advantage of the bank?
I think advantage the bank, I guess, or the government, I guess.
You are not allowed either way. Either way. Either way, you are not allowed. Okay? The Muslim is a clean person. Clean because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is clean. إن الله طيب لا يقبل إلا طيبا. Let me put this back and I'll be back to you, inshallah. Anyway, do we still have time, or we consumed all of our time?
We have
Any
time.
question still about the point that taking advantage of the loophole? Okay. What is a loophole? Anybody wants to check the computer, ask what's a loophole?
Are you asking about the meaning of the loophole, Sheikh?
Yes.
No.
What is the meaning of a loophole? When we say the Congress left all these legislations with lots of loopholes, what's a loophole?
I mean, from what I know, it is just a loophole is to trick the system.
To what?
To trick the system.
Let somebody check the computer and read the definition for us.
An ambiguity or inadequacy in the law or a set of rules, they exploit tax loophole.
This is one of them. So a loophole, Habibi, when they legislate, it's not like it is Allah's legislation, because Allah does not leave loopholes. People, when they legislate, leave a loopholes. That means they will leave something, it is not clear enough. It's a grayish. So a person can still practice the same thing that either allowed or forbidden by the legislators. Sorry, they will leave it unclear, ambiguous. It's not black It's not white, it's grayish. So if you practice it, it will be very difficult to prove in the court of law that you broke the law. Or it will be understood that if you do this little change or this little change, it will be legal. You understand, Habibi? So, Islamically, if the law can help us, it is okay. There is no problem. As long as this part that we are practicing is Islamically approved by Allah and His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Clear? But we cannot practice something haram because there is a loophole. But if it's our practice is halal and there is a loophole and we are not breaking the law because we are honest to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and dutiful to the system, we cannot do that. But assuming that this part of the practice is halal, alhamdulillah rabbil alameen. Yani, example, in America, a non-profit organization, they do not pay taxes, correct? Property taxes, correct? Yes, no, maybe?
Yes, sir.
Okay, churches, synagogues, temples, and masajid, they do not pay taxes, correct? Yes?
Yes.
Are the Muslims allowed to take advantage of this system or not? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. Why? Because the masjid is halal, صح?
Yes.
If والعياذ بالله, the other activity is haram, but you can still take, it says, well, if you do this activity, but this activity is haram, and still you can get a tax break, are you allowed to do it?
No.
You are not allowed, because in our law, the law of Allah Azza wa Jal, it is halal or haram. It is haram. So to start with, it is haram. How can you do it? How can you do it? It's haram. Yeah. So, ya akhwa, these excuses are everywhere. Yeah. We are not here to judge anybody or to criticize anybody. Just we want to understand our religion and how we practice our religion safely with Allah Azza wa Jal. And after that, we do not break any laws. Any question for me?
So, Sheikh, I mean, I understood your explanation clearly, but just to clarify, and I know what I'm going to ask is wrong also, but just wanted to get this from you, inshallah. So if somebody were to exploit the tax break that is given to the non-profit organizations, and say somebody were to buy I don't know if it's possible, but I'm just throwing a hypothetical question here. Somebody were to buy a house and register it as a 501c to get a tax break. I mean, how would that be seen?
Say it one more time, slowly, please.
Somebody were to buy a house and register it as a 501c to get a tax break.
Okay. First of all, there is no such thing called tax break in general, because the interest you pay way overweigh the benefit you get from the taxes. We agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. So in your case, you are saying that, what about me with another person? I'm not taking any loan. Okay. I'm not taking any loan, but I am going to agree with some person. Pay attention, Habib. Pay attention that, okay, we're going to agree that I took a loan with interest from an X person and I bought this house. So far, so good?
Yes.
Yes. And now I can get some tax breaks. Good? Yes?
Yes.
What is wrong with this picture?
I am trying to get a tax break for a purpose that's not intended it for.
That is fine. I'm talking about technicality. What is wrong with this picture?
I guess you're giving money in one case, and then you're trying to save less on the other case.
Okay. Very simple. Now the person who you have the agreement with for this scheme, is he going to report the money or not going to report the money?
He's gonna.
Say what?
He'll report.
He will not?
He will.
طيب, when he reports this money, is he going to pay taxes on them or not?
Yes.
So who is going to pay the taxes?
No, but Sheikh, another wrinkle that he added to it, he said that I now cheat. I cheat, right? So I got a loan from you, let's say, just for ease purposes, and I cheat and I tell the government that I register a 501c, and I buy a house on 501c because I'm a non-profit organization. A masjid could do this. Masjid could go to and say, give me a loan, I'm going to buy a masjid. And so they buy the masjid, they buy a property, and then they don't pay tax on it. So he's saying that on property tax, I could register 501c to dodge the system, and be able to get a tax break. Now this is using a lawful thing.
No, it is not, because this is cheating and lying. It's a cheating and lying. That's why we said, Habibi, pay attention. As long as the function that I'm doing, it is halal in my law, the law of Allah. Remember, I made this disclaimer.
No.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Barakallah Fik.
It is not. It is not allowed. This is cheating. And if you go to al-masjid, if you go to al-masjid and you have this unlawful agreement with them under the table, is this halal Islamically? Forget about the government. Halal or it's not halal? This cheating, halal or haram?
It is haram, for sure. No,
So
I mean, why I asked the question is, since you said that what begins in haram, it is always going to be, in haram. But then in this case,
yes, because this is haram.
Okay.
And I'm going to give you an example. A few years back, I want to take a loan from a Muslim, from a Muslim, and since the loan exceeded a certain limit within family members, he said, I could not give you the loan. Why? Why I wasn't able to take the loan, quote unquote, from a family member? This is in South Carolina. Why?
Is there a local law? I don't know.
Doesn't matter, but why? Why? It's a local law, yes. But why?
I don't know, sir.
Because he said, I have to report it all, and I am going to pay taxes on the interest that supposedly I'm charging you, because whether I like it or not, I have to charge you, and we went to a lawyer. Yeah, whether you like it or not, I have to charge you an interest. And since I'm going to charge you an interest, even on paper, I have to pay taxes on it, and it doesn't make sense to me. Got it? And it's a family member. Said because up to a certain amount, you can give me a loan without interest, but after you exceed this amount, whether you like it or not, you have to charge me interest.
Just out of curiosity, Sheikh, what kind of law is that? I mean, you cannot lend money to a family member up to beyond a limit.
But the law says, I'm talking about at least 20 years ago. The law says that if you give a loan even to a family member that exceeded certain amount, you have to charge interest on it.
SubhanAllah.
Because the Habibi people will do this thing to cheat the system. You understand? So the government is smart, said, well, you cannot cheat the system. How do I know it is not a business law, an investment law, especially among certain cultures? It doesn't matter if you are my family or not. A loan is a loan. I'm going to charge you interest. Clear, Habibi?
Sheikh, I mean, just one thing, if it's okay to ask now. In regards to that setup, I mean, does he have to report? Because it would be. I mean, he could just say this is the amount that's sitting with me. Doesn't he have to say that this is a loan that I gave him? Because he's not changed. He's not doing it honestly.
Yes, because we have two options. He wants to make it legally documented.
Oh, I see. So it's a written thing. We can take the court. I see.
We're not talking about $100 loan. Got it?
No.
And if I come to you, and I'm asking, well, for $200,000, you will be documenting this or not?
No.
Most people, I'm not saying everybody, most people, they will, correct?
No.
Once you document it, what will happen? It will enter the system or does not enter the system?
It would eventually, no.
So people said, well, I'm giving you the loan. And of course, on the loan that I'm supposed also to pay taxes on my favor, it's not going to work for me. Get it, Habibi?
No.
Clear, inshallah?
No.
طيب. Anything else? Anything else? Shall we stop here or continue? Nobody heard me?
It's up to you, Sheikh. I mean,
no, it's up to you. Continue or stop? Quick.
Sheikh, we're at 11:26. So if we continue, by what time?
No, you tell me. Quickly.
It's entirely up to you. I mean,
okay.
Let
me just cover one portion, which is we started with. I have a question. Then inshallah Rabbi will take maximum 10 minutes. Okay, somebody time it. Anybody knows what is interest only loan payment?
Interest only loan payment. So that would be perhaps, this is a guess. You pay interest, you don't pay the capital.
You do not pay what?
The capital.
You do not pay the capital yet. Yes. Let me read the definition for you, and this is to show you that even this kind of lending was practiced during the time of Jahiliyah, and when the Quran was revealed, when the prohibition was revealed in the Quran, this was also prohibited. And it says, the definition: interest only loan payment. The borrower only pays the interest on the mortgage through monthly payments for a term that is fixed on an interest-only mortgage loan. The term is usually between 5 and 7 years. After the term is over, many finance their homes, make a lump sum payment, or they begin paying off the principal of the loan. So what does that mean? Interest only loan. All of your payment, let's assume every month you pay $500, all of your payment goes to where?
Interest.
The interest. Does it touch, reduce the principal?
No.
Does not. So all of this, all what every month's payment goes to pay the interest. And supposedly, once you finish paying the interest on the principal, you are going to pay the principal. Good? Any question about this form of loan?
So this will be simple loan. This won't be compound interest loan. This
No,
will be
it
simple.
is the same, but everything goes to the interest because it's calculated with the interest.
But the capital is fixed, right, now for a certain time. So if it was compound, it would be always increasing. So it seems like
Anyway, go ahead.
No,
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Because pay attention to the first line. The borrower only pays the interest on the mortgage through monthly payments for a term that is fixed on an interest-only mortgage loan.
Yeah. When he starts to pay the capital, is he now paying?
Hold on. We have two kinds of loans, mortgages. One fixed, and one unfixed, correct?
No.
The fixed, that means you agreed on 10%. The 10%, whether the interest goes up or down, it remains 10%. Correct?
No, sure.
Okay. The one that is not fixed, if the interest changes, the rate changes too. Correct?
No.
Okay. So anyway, on the interest-only loan payment, you will pay what? The interest on what? Your payment goes to pay the interest only while the capital is not touched. Good?
No.
Now, Imam, inshallah Rabbil Alameen, الإمام فخر الدين الرازي أبو عبد الله محمد ابن عمر ابن حسين القرشي الطبرستاني الأصل, who died in the year 606 Hijri, said in his book of Tafsir, مفاتيح الغيب, or التفسير الكبير, Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 275. He said, اعلم أن الربا قسمان. You should know that riba is two types. ربا النسيئة وربا الفضل. The riba of النسيئة, the riba that the more I give you time, the more interest you pay. وربا الفضل, when we are what exchanging two products that they have to be same in weight, quantity, and or quality. Okay, he says أما ربا النسيئة فهو الأمر الذي كان مشهورا متعارفا في الجاهلية. Said ربا النسيئة is the matter that used to be very well known, very famous during the time of Jahiliyah. وذلك أنهم كانوا يدفعون المال على أن يأخذوا كل شهر قدرا معينا, and that they used to lend the money on the condition that every month they will receive certain amount. ويكون رأس المال باقيا, while the principal are still staying the same. ثم إذا حل الدين طالبوا المديون برأس المال. And once it is the time to pay the principal, they will ask the person who borrowed the money to pay the principal in full. فإذا تعذر عليه الأداء زادوا في الحق والأجر. And if he is unable, pay attention حبيبي, and if he is unable to pay the principal, then they will what? Extend the time and what? Increase the payment. فهذا هو الربا الذي كانوا في الجاهلية يتعاملون به. This is the riba that they used to deal with during the Jahiliyah. Any question about this part and my broken translation?
No, Sheikh, I mean, I think that explanation of the Sheikh was, Imam Radi was very nice, because what I understood from it is that so if I came to you and I said I want a loan for 3 months, what you told me is that, or somebody told me, is that they're going to charge me interest for 3 months, and then my capital would be due. I think that's what they're doing, right? And so that seems
my capital will be what?
So I asked for loan for 3 months. That I told you that I'll return the loan 3 months. So for the 3 months, I'll be giving interest, and then at 3 months mark, I would return the capital as a whole.
Okay, that's correct. Then if you are unable to pay it, then what will happen?
Then they'll extend the time, but they would increase the rate, and they'll say, okay, fine, you'll pay. Now you pay 3%.
Yes. So basically we'll start what? The whole process again. Correct?
No, sir.
I'm talking the interest process.
No.
Good?
No.
Now, is this different from what they are practicing nowadays?
No.
Why we are quoting this? Again, one more time, because we hear from some people, they say, what do you know? The system, the riba system during the time of Jahiliyah, when the Quran was revealed, has nothing to do with what is practiced nowadays, which is either the person doesn't know what he's talking about, or he does not know what was practiced during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Good?
No.
Good, inshallah.
No, I think virtually all crimes have remained the same. We just think we are very smart.
Allah barik fik. people, they assume that is the problem. They say, well, this is something new. Well, how do you know? Huh? Wallahi, ya akhwa, I saw some people, and they are college graduates, and I'm still talking now. They talk about finances here in America, and so far they cannot tell the difference between the banknotes in front of my eyes. And I'm talking about $5, $1, $2. He doesn't know if we have $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 whatsoever. And the person of this knowledge is saying, so well, the interest during the time of the Prophet ﷺ was different than today's interest.
No. Sheikh, this is a disease. This is a disease that humanity has had for a very long time. Everything we justify, that is the 22nd century. It's the 21st century.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. But anyway, inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will keep us straight and clean at heart and clean in actions, inshallah. Good?
Yeah.
طيب. Inshallah, Rabbil Alameen, at the end of this month, I'm traveling to see my family in Jordan. If we can arrange to meet in these classes while I'm in Jordan, we'll continue. If not, inshallah, we'll meet after I come back at the end of July, inshallah. Good. I'll do my best to keep these classes going on unless something else happens.
So we have a class next week, Sheikh?
What will be the day?
SubhanAllah, I didn't check the date. Next Saturday.
If we are still here, yes, we'll have the class.
Okay, inshallah.
Good.
Good type.
We're going to squeeze every moment, inshallah, we can get.
Inshallah, I know. I mean, if we don't have, then maybe may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make your trip easy and take you safe, bring you back safe, inshallah.
Please keep praying for us, inshallah.
Check 29th. The date is 29th.
I think, inshallah, unless something happens, we'll keep the schedule. Good. That means next week we'll meet, inshallah.
Inshallah.
Good.
No.
Inshallah. طيب. I know that another person is waiting for another class, so I have to say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله. بارك الله فيك.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.